And we're back with another edition of
We
Sports Attic.
back.
We back with my guy Trey, yours truly, Rod Guy. And man, today was an exciting day, and we obviously want to tap into the latest news out of Dallas, our Mavericks, and starting with Jalen Brunson. Background: Jalen Brunson just signed or agreed to, with this whole tampering thing. I don't even know what that means anymore, but agreed to a 4-year deal, 104 million. Am I right with that? 104 million to the New York Knicks. So when that popped across your timeline, Trey, what were your initial thoughts?
Blah,
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 blah.
blah. So, um, I expected Jalen Brunson to go to New York.
Yeah.
After our last conversation, when I thought about everything about his dad coaching for the Knicks, him growing up being able to watch the Knicks, and his earliest memories of basketball being in Madison Square Garden. When he had the opportunity to go, he pounced on it. I know the Mavericks offered him 5 years, 106, which is like a 21.2 a year average. And New York came in with 4 years, 104, which is a $26 million per year average. So I'm not mad at Jalen Brunson. Hey, man, go get your money. You earned it. Go get it.
Yeah.
But I'm also not upset with the decision that the Mavericks made to say, hey, we think you're a $22 million a year player. This is what we're going to offer you. And if that's not sufficient, go by all means.
Good riddance.
Not
Hey,
good
man.
riddance, not necessarily
Yeah,
good riddance,
no
but
ill will. No ill will towards Jalen, man. I really good player, man. Really, really good player. And the ties to the Knicks were even deeper than I originally thought. I know his dad, Richard Brunson. Obviously, we spoke about that in past episodes that he was hired by the Knicks, but Richard Brunson apparently was the first player client of Leon Rose, who is now the president of the New York Knicks, and Leon Rose's son is the agent of Jalen Brunson. So I mean, it was I didn't know about these ties prior to free agency, and it just kind of start trickling out, and then maybe the last few days it was just pretty much a done deal before free agency opened.
His dad played for the Knicks twice.
Yeah, and former player. So we talked about that pool, and I'm like, once he signed to the Knicks, I mean, of course they probably tried to play it like bringing some alumni back in here, but he definitely probably guaranteed I can get my son here, and that had the deal. Then I got the deal done. But Jalen, man, you want to talk about a story and want to talk about right time, to turn up. He got busy this playoffs. Play well, throughout the whole year, but really took it to another level. Kind of definitely starting with, I think it started with when Luka was out against Utah, and he turned into that, aggressive primary, ball handler, scorer for us, and never really turned it off. And it just kind of carried over, and he had a big time playoffs run. And boy, you go from what do we offer him, or had the opportunity
4 years, 55
million, and you flip that and double it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Essentially,
Shout out
double
to
it.
him.
Shout out to him. You know what I mean? Like, that is amazing. I hope the best for him. He will see. And it comes along with it. When you make that type of money, the expectations are different. You know what I mean?
New York is different.
Oh, New York is definitely different. So now, when you make that type of money, 17 points ain't good enough. You know what I mean? You're going to get criticized for a 17-point game.
17 points is not worth $25 million, $26 million a year.
It's not going to get it done. I guess they're banking. Obviously,
he's not a great he's not a great shot creator for others either. He's really just a scoring point guard.
He's a scorer. And he has a winning pedigree, won 2 national championships at Villanova. He does, the little things, even for us as a Mavericks fan, you weren't surprised when you see him in the mix taking charges. He just does a lot of the little things that helps you win ball games. So I really enjoy watching his ISO game this postseason. Man, he will get busy mid game. He kind of like, Jalen can't be any taller than like 6'1".
Right.
6'1", but he kind of got to build on a little stockier. So he just want to get you on the shoulder. He's going to bump you off and get his floater off, his jumper off in the mid game. It's a pretty game to watch, man. JB is nice.
I think
Uh,
JB led the league in his floater percentage. I think he shot it like 52%.
Man, he was killing with it, and that's a giant killer. So it'll be interesting to see the rest of the moves we make. Obviously to try to fulfill. Maybe we do that within. Give people, obviously Dinwiddie have a bigger role going forward. We got Tim Hardaway Jr. coming back, into the fold, and we'll see how we kind of supplement that production that's leaving with Jalen. But yeah, man, it was exciting to get things going. And we'll see how we continue to, make some roster moves. Nico,
Nico!
Nico getting started. And I feel like for some reason it's like his first full off season, like beginning to end. But I know, what was he with us a full off season last year?
Yes.
Okay, so a second off season. So I'm looking forward to see, his additional moves he'll, get to make going forward. But this was, kind of the first domino. But again, this wasn't like a blindside type deal. We've kind of seen this coming, heard the reports, and look forward to it and seeing how Jalen does in New York with that crowd, with that media, and see how he does there.
Yeah, no, I agree 1,000%. Like I said before, I'm happy the Mavericks didn't re-sign him at that number.
Yeah,
It would have been great to have him back, but I believe that Nico knew what was coming, and that's why he traded 2 second-round picks to come up and get Jaden Hardy.
you said that.
Um, Jaden Hardy has uh, a very good pedigree as far as being an elite basketball player. He was ranked as high as number 2 in the nation coming out of high school. And I believe that if he had went to college, he'd be a lottery pick. He was ranked above a bunch of the guys that went in the top 10. So I just think that him playing for Ignite and having the percent that his numbers weren't great. I think he shot like 38% from the field, and 27% from 3-point
Yeah.
range. But he was also the leading scorer on that team,
Mm-hmm.
averaging 19 points a game, and was a clear-cut best player on that team, which is a developmental team.
Yep.
They got a guy on their team right now. His name's Scoot. He could possibly be in the mix with the guy over from France,
Victor.
Victor. Yeah.
I'm not gonna try his last name yet till I hear it a couple times. But
Victor
boy,
W. That's what we're gonna call him.
man, Victor W is
Vic
a
Dub. Vic
problem.
Dub.
He
We're gonna
looks
call him
like
Vic Dub.
he looks like a problem.
Nah, yeah, he does look like a problem. But all in all, I believe that the upside on Jaden Hardy, I think that the Mavericks value that, and I think that the Mavericks can see him developing behind, like you said, Dinwiddie and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yep.
I think that there'll be minutes for him. He'll be able to get some time, and I think that his development is going to take him the faster he can develop, the faster I think Jason Kidd is going to trust him with minutes. I mean, the good news is he already played a year of what you would call developmental basketball in the G League. So he's already been playing against grown men for the last year or so. And I believe that he'll be able to make the transition, become a little bit more efficient with his game. And I think that, with us drafting him in the second round, a la Jalen Brunson, I think that he has the game to even be better than Jalen Brunson. So,
and let's not forget about Josh Green. He'll have another season of development. He was getting some playoff minutes in the rotation this year. So we'll continue to see his development. As much praise as we give our guy Nico. I think Josh Green, hopefully could take the next step in his development because we did draft him over Desmond Bane, who showed kind of immediate production over in Memphis and being a big part of what they got going on.
Not just Desmond Bane, also Sadiq Bey up in Detroit.
Boom. But even easier that Desmond Bane was in our backyard. I believe he went to TCU.
Yeah, but Sadiq Bey was actually like top on our board that particular.
Got you. So hey man, we give him the flowers and when he deserves it, but we also gotta
who you talking about, Ryan?
Nico
didn't do that draft.
Well, Josh Green, he was last year.
No, he wasn't.
Who was last year?
We didn't have a first round pick last year.
Who? So Josh Green was two years ago?
Yes, that's
okay. Well, hey Nico, I'll take my
Johnny Nelson's last draft. But remember, I forgot the other GM. What's the other GM name? The dude that gambles a lot.
Was it Donnie?
No, he was with Dunny. Remember Cuban? They got rid of him last offseason. I think his name is Harry something. He's known for gambling, and the Cuban hired him to be the general
Gotcha.
manager.
Like what is like some analytics type stuff?
Yeah, he was like the analytics kind of guy. Yeah, but he went on record on the Bill Simmons podcast and said that he actually ran that draft and drafted Josh Green because Donnie Nelson and Mark Cuban, it was some kind of dust up during the draft. So he said he didn't have any kind of research or anything like that. He
Wow.
literally just kind of said, all right, that's the guy.
Well, that's on Mark then. Hey, that's on Mark. But I like Josh. I'm not trying to,
Yeah, but don't put that on Nico.
I ain't gonna put it on Nico. My bad, Nico. My bad. So yeah, I look forward to seeing, how we
Jaden
continue.
Hardy is Nico's first draft pick, period.
Is
if
he?
I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Okay. And so I look forward to seeing, what moves we continue to make in free agency and how, we kind of round out the team with the departure of Jalen Brunson as he heads over to the Knicks. So again, best of luck. Got that bag. Best of luck. Best of luck to JB, man. He did his things. He did his thing this offseason and paid off in a big way. Way to bet on yourself. Way to bet on yourself. And it came through.
Speaking of that, though,
yeah,
it's amazing. It's amazing to me how high his stock rose by having, if you really want to look at it, it was like 2 games. It was like
more
2 games.
It was more than 2
No,
games.
no. He played well throughout the playoffs. That's not what I'm saying. But he had that explosion of 40 points.
Yeah.
And then he had like another high 20 or 30-point game against Utah in the games that Luka was not playing.
Right.
And it was really those because when Luka came back, I want to say game 3, maybe game 4.
He had a couple high 20s, I think, against Phoenix.
Yeah, he did. He had but most of the time later in the playoffs, he was going for more so like a low 20s. He was giving back, and I'm not mad at it. I'm just saying, like, it's just crazy to see. Like you said, he was worth 4 years, $55 million this time last year.
Yeah.
And he just signed for 4 years, 104. And
104.
And it's really a 3-year with a player option on the back end. He's 26 years old, if I'm not mistaken. So that'll take him to be 29 years old with an option to become a free agent if he plays well. Then he can opt out and get another bag. So
he played like a big time Robin, this postseason. I guess low 20s, man. That's what you would expect from like a Robin. I guess maybe more if you want to say 1A 1B type deal, but that's not what he was in. That's not.
It wasn't a 1. It was not a 1A.
No, it wasn't. So that low 20s. I mean, shoot, that'll earn you 25, and you look around the league and seeing the other dudes making 25.
Again, I'm not mad at it, but Jalen Brunson to me was undersized for his position. He doesn't create for others. He's just a scoring point guard. He gave us 16 points a game. In my opinion, I believe those numbers are replaceable, very replaceable. I believe with Dinwiddie playing and then you bring Hardaway back, essentially when he was given a low 20s, Hardaway wasn't even on the floor. And Dinwiddie was just finding his footing in his role with the Mavericks. So when you bring in Dinwiddie and you bring back Hardaway, combine that with Christian Wood, I think we make up for that 17 points a game. So the Mavericks will be fine.
I don't think people, were willing to pay the 25 for the 17. I think they're betting on that they're going to see that playoff version of JB if you put him and give him the opportunity.
I believe that was JB's peak. Well, we've
could have been. And good for him if he did cash in on it, but that's what they betting on.
He's been here for 4 years, and he didn't have that kind of explosion anytime before that. We knew he was a good player.
Yeah.
We knew that. But he didn't have that kind of explosion until the playoffs. And I mean, I remember on national TV being mad, listening to all the pundits speak about Jalen Brunson like he don't have game. I knew he had game, but
he could ball.
He can ball, but he is not, I'm gonna have multiple free agent meetings like I'm LeBron James or Kevin Durant. He's not that guy.
No, he's not that. But, hey, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a little more, consistently in that close to 20 points range. I mean, he was already almost, I know in the NBA, 3 points per game is a kind of a big difference. But I think, given the opportunity, being more aggressive, and maybe it was a confidence thing. I don't think it was a coincidence that when Luka went down and the keys got kind of flipped to him temporarily, that you saw a different level of JB. And that's sometimes what it takes for, players to flip that on.
What's your rule? What's your rule that you always tell me about players in contract years?
Yeah, it's more so football, and the reason I say that, but the rule is that I want players in their contract year, depending on who it is, I don't want to re-sign them. But that does depend on who it is. You know what I
And this
mean?
is exactly what happened.
But it depends. Yeah, no,
Because
absolutely.
because you talk about it's something in him to be able to take his game to that next level. Mentally, he could have been thinking, "This is my chance to get my bag."
Oh yeah, there's no more motivation you can get than trying to get your bread. I don't care what a coach can't say nothing to you that'll motivate you more than trying to get paid, especially that big contract that'll set you up for life. But really, football, and that's when we kind of talk about that more often. When I say that, I mean it's just because of the volatility of the sport, and a lot of people just shelf life just kind of plummet after that. So I don't really apply it to basketball. I love players still in their contract year because you're gonna get their best, or they're gonna give it their best shot. But football is kind of a different ball game. But I definitely feel that way in football.
Yeah, I guess I know
Position.
that it's more your rule is geared more toward football. I was just trying to apply it to basketball.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
JB was in a situation where he was motivated.
Yeah.
And he took advantage of it. He bet on himself. With Luka going out, that was actually Luka going down on the last game of the season was a perfect opportunity for JB to go get his bag. He was able to do that and also keep up the high play throughout the playoffs, in which we went to the Western Conference Finals.
Yep.
And he was clearly our second best player. So,
for sure,
like again, hats off to Jalen Brunson. Glad you got your bag. Glad you're back in New York, with the franchise that you grew up watching and fell in love with basketball. I know you're about an hour and a half away from Philly, and I think he grew up in New Jersey, a piece of New Jersey as well. So
went to Villanova.
Yeah, Villanova. So man, hats off to him. I'm glad he got his bag.
Salute.
And in Nico, I trust. I know he's gonna do well. We're
we're
not even done yet. We're not
just getting started.
Not even done yet.
So make sure y'all continue to look for more content coming from us, specifically with the Mavericks, seeing what moves we make. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, continue to tap in with your boys. We'll be back.
Follow us on Twitter